if you were planning on crossing into Troll Shores, I'm afraid I have to disappoint you. I came out to fix the bridge, but I threw my back out as soon as I lifted the first piece. It's rather embarrassing, to be honest. If you're in a desperate hurry, you could always attempt to build it yourself. Say, could you spare a moment? You made that look like child's play. Now I feel even more embarrassed. But that's not important. What matters is you've restored the path into Troll Shores. Here, I was paid in advance, but since you did all the work, I think it's only fair you take this.
The company took shelter for the night in the deserted ruins of a farm. Why this farm was deserted, seemingly in great haste, proved a mystery. However, it was certainly no small thing that destroyed the farmhouse.
We'll camp here for the night.
I think it would be wiser to move on. We could make for the hidden valley.
I will not go near that place.
We have a map that we cannot read. Lord Elrond could help us.
I do not need their advice.
Everything all right? Gandalf, where are you going?
I've had enough of dwarves for one day.
Is he coming back? What's the matter?
Trolls.
He's got Myrtle and Minty. I think they're going to eat them. We have to do something.
As our official burglar, we thought you might like to look into it.
I'm not afraid. I'm up for it.
Are you sure this is a good idea?
It's perfectly safe. We'll be right behind you.
LEGO The Hobbit walkthrough, part 4, I think this is. So this is actually a pretty interesting level, and one that is also kind of lengthy. So it's the part of the movie, and I should also say the books, or I guess just the book of The Hobbit. It's the part of the book where the trolls are trying to decide how they're gonna eat the dwarves, but of course they haven't discovered the dwarves yet. So I guess the real thing is just you're trying to get to the horses back, and then you'll be dealing with the dwarves. So for the first part, you'll want to be using, I think Keely is his name, the one with the bow. And then you want to shoot this target, and that's one of the many things you're going to want to remember, is that the targets are actually different. The circle targets are where you use arrows for, while the diamond-shaped ones, or the triangle-shaped ones, I can't remember exactly, I think it's diamond, those ones you have to use the slingshot for, and that's what the other dwarf with me right now uses. I can't remember his name. Now, for the trolls, they will get up every now and then and look at you, or at least try to look at you. They'll look outside of their ring, and you're gonna need to find something to distract them. So the first part is just kind of getting the owl to fly away, and the second one is coming here to the right and use Bilbo so he can throw in his fishing line, and then you need to push the buttons as the fishing hook and the line circle around the button in the middle, and once they get about, close to the button, just push whatever button it is, do it 3 times, and a bunch of fish will pop up. Now you need to pick up the fish, and you can throw them into the pot, and you just kind of have to look at it, and when it says X, just push the button. If you end up missing, you can push and hold the button it tells you to push, and an aimer will come up. So on the Xbox 360, it's X, and on the PlayStation, I'm assuming it's probably square. As for the other consoles, I'm not really sure. I mean, if you're playing on the Wii U, it's probably Y, but you'll just have to see whatever it is that it is. I almost considered getting this game for the Wii U, and after I had all my problems with it, I'm wondering if I should have done that. I don't have enough Wii U games either. Can't wait till Brawl comes out. And Mario Kart 8, that looks good, unlike Mario Kart 7, which really wasn't that great at all. So anyway, that is the diamond-shaped target that I talked about earlier that you need to use the slingshot for, and all you have to do is use whatever dwarf that is to knock the gate open, and then the pony will happily frolic away and break open the pathway to the left, and then you will see the other pony that is stuck there. Now there's actually a lot of parts to this level, and it makes it somewhat lengthy. I don't really know how long it is exactly. I think it's about a 16-minute level from beginning to finish, so it's not as long as some LEGO levels, but it feels a lot longer because you move so slowly while trying to move across here and sneak by the trolls that are sitting around the campfire. It's just, it's weird. And then there was one part that I got stuck on because you have to collect loot later on, and that is always annoying, and that probably added another 10 minutes for me because I had to sit there waiting for all the stupid blocks to respawn so I could actually build the object that I needed, but I will talk about that later in the video. So the other thing you'll want to remember is that the dwarves also often have a shovel, and there are going to be more than one locations within the game that need you to use a shovel to dig something up. So for this first one, you just need to dig up the rock or whatever the heck it was, squirrel dung maybe, and throw it into the pot, and then build this diamond target, and then use the slingshot so you can throw some rocks onto the target and then free the second pony.
Blimey! It's got arms and legs and everything!
What is it?
I'm a burglar. Hobbit!
A burglar hobbit? Can we cook him? We can try!
Drop him!
You what?
I said, drop him.
The second part in the troll fight level is just kind of fun and at the same time kind of annoying because you have to actually fight the 3 trolls. So for each troll there's going to be something different you have to do at the beginning to get it to where you can knock them out, but each troll ends up getting knocked out the same way, and that is by buddying up with another dwarf and then doing a big fancy combo move to try and get them to stop being so mean. But for the first guy, you're just going to need to walk around the level and then notice that he makes a bunch of those rocks that you're going to want to do your best to avoid because they can do some damage, and it's really annoying when you get really close to doing something that you end up dying anyway. But what you need to do is build this thing over here to the right, and then you need to shoot it so you can actually move a boulder or throw a boulder, or I guess, what is this, a chicken? Oh, huh. I didn't actually see that when I played through the game. Okay, so you need to use the catapult to throw the chicken on top of the troll. Now, another useful thing about this game is that it seems to be pretty much impossible to get stuck in anymore, and it kind of makes me wonder what the purpose of having a walkthrough is, because there's those blocks there that will come up every time something mildly confusing shows itself, so all you have to do is hit it and then it tells you what you need to do, and if you're ever stuck, then a lot of times an arrow will pop up on the screen telling you, hey idiot, come over here, this is where you have to continue. But there's still some weird parts later in the game where that stuff kind of stops happening, and I really noticed that there were a couple of times that even I got stuck at, or I was just confused, and there was no help whatsoever, which isn't really a problem. I mean, I don't want a game to hold my hand the entire time I'm playing, but I just thought it was strange that these first levels were so tutorial heavy, and then all of a sudden it just stopped pretty much right after the first movie. But there's still a lot of help every now and then. So for this final troll, you just have to use the arrow with Keely again and shoot the target above you, run up with another dwarf, take him out, and that will be the end of part 2 out of 3 of this level. There's still one more part, which is a little bit more fun, but still kind of not fun at least.
Lay down your arms, or we'll whip his off! Go, go!
And for the last part, where you have to take out, or you have to rescue the dwarves that have been taken up, the first thing you'll have to do is just whack this table with his ladle. That kind of rhymed without intention. And once you do that a couple of times, then that first dwarf will be free. For some reason, you have to hit it like 4 or 5 times before it actually falls down. You can also wander around a little bit if you want to, just to see what else there is, but once you do this first one, then you can grapple down this pack of boxes to the left, watch all the chickens go free, and then you'll want to come here to the left side and use the shovel so you can dig up the second dwarf. And then you'll want to pick up this handle and put it on this mechanism so you can free, I think this frees another dwarf. Yes, this will free the third dwarf. And then a bow will fall down and you can use that to shoot the target. Now coming up here is going to be a pretty annoying part, and it's a part that actually added 10 minutes for me because I cut that all out, of course, but you have to find a bunch of objects here in a second so you can actually build another LEGO object so you can free the final dwarf, and you of course need to find the loot so you can do that, and that loot for whatever reason was not spawning for me. So as I've said earlier in the walkthrough, and I'll say it again, collect as much loot as you can, and if you want to spend time in the overworld destroying rocks and bushes so you can find a lot of rope and just other random items that you'll need, if you go and do that and you get like 50 of any item, then you'll be fine for most of the game and it'll be a lot easier on you, but either way, you're going to be looking for loot at some point, so it does take a while, and it's just kind of annoying. But if you really need it here in this level, just walk around and destroy everything that you can find and pick up all the stuff that drops, and if you don't have enough, then usually another object will spawn that will give you extra loot. If that object doesn't spawn, you may not have picked up an extra loot that that's on the ground, you may not have picked one up, or you may have the maximum amount that will give you, because once you get 15 planks, which I think is a requirement for this object, then it's not going to give you more than 15 inside the level. But once you do that and free the final dwarf, it'll just be a bunch of cutscenes, and that's pretty much the end of the level.
Dawn will take you all! Who's that? Get your foot out of my back!